Hey everyone, it's Ariel Boutique. Welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, make sure you thumbs up this video and go ahead and hit that subscribe button and comment down below. So let's get started. This is things I wish I would have knew, or I wish someone would have told me about having a C-section. So here's the kicker. A lot of people kind of just brush having a C-section off. Sorry, I'm tongue-tied. Due to it's so common. But however, having a C-section is a major surgery, and that's something to be mindful of. So something I wish someone would have told me is that there are multiple ways that they close up a C-section. First one being is I know that they do the staples. Well, they used to, so I don't know if they're still doing that, because I know they have dissolvable stitches. They also have the steri strips and also glue. So what I received was, in the inside layers, they did do the dissolvable stitches, and on the outside they used a glue. Now, I don't know if this is just me or with everyone, but it felt like I had no support in my abdominal area at all. It felt like my ribs collapsed. It was kind of bad, but well, not bad, uncomfortable feeling. So here's a tip for this. When you're in the hospital, all the hospitals, they do not just voluntarily give you this, but if you know, you know. So just ask them for a belly binder. And what the belly binder is you can put that on right away, and it helps so much with pain. It helps so much with any discomfort you may have, and you can wear it throughout the day. You don't have to wear it tight. You can ask the nurses to assist to help you put that on. But that's a lifesaver. Tip 1. Tip 2. I was terrified of taking the shower right after once they gave me the green light, because I was scared, like, okay, is this going to open up? Because you did glue me shut. Like, how does this work? But they typically just give you basic instructions when you're at the hospital. You know, just take a shower, let the water run down your body, and also wash your whole entire body, but wash the top and over top of your incision, and just let the water run down with the soap. What they didn't tell me is what kind of soap, and I asked, and they said, you know, just a mild soap. And it's just like, me being, you know, kind of not all there sometimes, I thought using baby wash was going to be good. But the problem with using like a baby body wash is, or like Ovina or something like that, you have to look at the ingredients, because they did have a fragrance, and I'm fairly sensitive. So that was just all bad. But what I found was the Dial antibacterial soap. Lifesaver. So it is a little drying on the skin, but you don't have to like put so much, because you just want to make sure your skin's thoroughly clean, and that soap does a deep cleaning already, and it's already antibacterial. So what I found is that's the best soap to use. You can either use the Dial antibacterial or just use what works for you. But for me, like I said, I have very sensitive skin, and any fragrance was an irritant to me, and it was just not good for my incision at all. So that's tip number 2. First tip, ask for the belly binder when you're in the hospital after your C-section. Second tip, use the Dial soap. Another tip is, in my case, I didn't get a chance to ask, you know, if I was going to be able to see my baby over the curtain, or have like a square cut out for me to be able to see him once he's born. But since it was an emergency situation, I had him at 32 weeks and 2 days. He only weighed 3 pounds, 8 ounces. I had to get rushed into my C-section due to preeclampsia, and so there was really no time to kind of formulate a plan or kind of just, you know, reiterate my wants out of, you know, having a C-section. It was very scary, not knowing what to expect. So this is why I'm giving you guys tips. So, and here comes to my third tip. The third tip would be, if they offer you an epidural, a spinal, or the anesthesia, I would recommend doing the spinal. Everyone has their own preference, but from what I've heard about, the anesthesia just leaves you with lasting effects, and also the epidural, I've also heard not too many great things about that, but I know from personal experience, because that's what I received as a spinal block. So it worked magnificently. You do feel a little bit of tugging, but it's not that bad, okay? Of course, somebody's, you know, cutting you open, they're going inside, digging around till they can find the baby, and moving your organs around just so they can deliver the baby safely And yes, they do deliver your organs around. I mean, move your organs around, but they put them all back together. So that is a tip number 3. So the first tip, again, I'm going to go over, which is the belly binder. Tip number 2, the dial soap. And tip number 3, most importantly, is to make sure that you're aware of either receiving anesthesia, a spinal, or an epidural. Also, another tip I would have is that not just only the Depends, but any like leggings you have, leggings are going to be your best friend. I had my baby in June, so I wore a lot of summer dresses, thank goodness, because I didn't want to wear anything that was going to rub against my incision. Also, another tip, when you're sleeping, make sure to lay on your side, but when you lay on your side, don't scrunch up. I know a lot of people want to like curl up because you're afraid that maybe something will open, because that's how it feels. Well, at least to me, that's how it felt. But you want to lay as straight as possible. And what I did was, when I laid down, I would lay down and I would use a pillow and just put it over my incision. So when I laid to the side, I lay like this with the pillow over my incision to help like my stomach from feeling like it was falling out all over the place. And that helped a lot. Also, you can get the Depends one size down from what your actual size is, because that will kind of make everything kind of hold into place and give you a little bit of pressure, which will feel so comfortable at night. Also, no one told me any tips on, you know, how to sleep, but for me, this is a tip I have for you. So when you're laying down, sit in a chair, or the couch might be more comfortable for you too, but sit on your bed, and then just kind of lay down, but kind of put your elbow like this, and then lay down, and then swing your legs over one by one. And then when you want to get up, so say for instance you're laying like this, or laying with your hand like this, you're just going to put your arm in that same position like this. You're going to put this hand like this, and you're going to push upward. But that's after you already swung your legs over front. So what you're going to do to get up is you're going to swing one leg off the bed, the other leg off, and then you're going to push up like this, and then step down. That's a lifesaver, trust me. For any mommies out there that had a C-section, you know, it might be a little uncomfortable to sleep because you need someone to help you get in and out of bed. But like I said, I was caring for myself, so I had to help myself get in and out of bed, especially when I had to go to the restroom. And that goes for the next tip. Okay, if you have a C-section, do not, I repeat, do not let yourself get constipated. I know, TMI, but let me tell you, the C-section itself is one thing, but do not let yourself get constipated. Make sure you're staying hydrated. Of course, if you're breastfeeding, you're going to be trying to stay hydrated as best as possible. But if you're not staying as hydrated, make sure that you get you some stool softeners. The Ducalex ones, or you can get some Miralax over the counter. But make sure you are going to the restroom. You do not want to get constipated, especially while you're recovering. It is extremely painful. It offers a lot of pressure on your incision, a lot of discomfort. Also, your C-section will be itchy once it starts to, you know, heal and tissue starts to form together. Do not, I repeat, do not scratch, itch, or anything like that. You don't want to irritate it or open up by any means necessary. Also, once you do get out the shower, you're showering, just to make sure your incision is completely dry. This is what I would do to make sure I was completely dry, so there was no moisture in my incision area, because I had a fear of C-section, my C-section getting infected, but lo and behold, it still got infected, and I got 2 infections, and it was very, 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 very rough. So after I kind of healed over that, this is what I did best to make sure that it was dry. And the reason why I ended up with 2 infections is because the doctor that I was going to, they didn't believe me when I said that I felt that I was getting an infection until it was way worse, but that's not here nor there. I got some sterile gauze from CVS, so I would take a gauze and I would just hold onto the incision and I would pat dry. After I wiped my body with a towel, I would pat the incision dry. With the gauze, because the gauze absorbs a lot more water. So once I did that, I would take like a little mini fan and I would fan over it, and then I would put on the Depends. And that's what helped me a lot, and that's what helped, me get over the infection. I think honestly, I got most of the infection due to the fact that I was caring for myself, and I was kind of pushing myself to lift things, to move around the house, to get stuff done, because I didn't have no one here with me. Also, I didn't really know how to sleep, so I was getting up any kind of way, and I was putting extra pressure on my incision, and I had glue. Glue literally was the one thing that had, was a barrier from the bottom of my stomach opening. In the inside, yes, there is dissolvable stitches, but there are so many layers that go into having a C-section. So I feel like something maybe more sturdy as the, staples or the steri strips probably would have been better. I don't know, because I haven't experienced that. This was my first child. So just whatever is your preference. Now, keep in mind, I am not a doctor. I'm not giving, great advice. I'm just using the tips that work for me, and I learned the hard way. And I wish somebody would have told me. So we'll go back over it, just so that way we have this drilled in your head so you prepare to go. That's it. And also, when you go for a C-section, be prepared to stay at least 3 to 4 days. So just pack that way, because there could be complications. Anything could arrive, and you just kind of want to pack, because you just never know. Also, the first poop could be kind of scary, because you just trying to use the bathroom in the hospital just to, get clearance to go home. It's kind of scary, because, hello, you just had major abdominal surgery. So it's nothing to be taken lightly. And trust me, when you're trying to push, you're kind of like, oh my God, am I going to open this back up? But you're not. Just relax, and it'll be fine. The nurses are there to help you in any way possible. If you want, you can always ask them, can they start you on stool softener there? And then they can send you home with a few to get you started. And also, what you want to invest in is also, you still want to invest in, even though you're not pushing to deliver the baby, you're still going to need pads, because you're still going to have, bleeding. You're still going to have issues with hemorrhoids possibly. So make sure you have the hemorrhoid pads ready. You can get them from Walmart. So that's the tips I have. If you have any questions or want to know about my birth story, which I would be excited to share that with you. If you want to know any more tips about a C-section, if you'd like me to talk more in depth about just overall things that will help the process of having a C-section. Another tip I have for you is that if you don't have help, if you do have help, depending on if your baby's born early, or, maybe they're over their due date. However, that's not here nor there. The best thing you can do, which I wish I would have done, is to do freezer prep. So where you just get a couple of meals that you can cook, and then we are in quarantine, so this will be beneficial either way it goes. So just get a couple of meals that you can pre-make, and you want to make them a big portion, like family size, and write down on top of the foil the temperature to cook it at, also what meal it is, and put the date that you made it, so you know what day it expired, and then package that up, put it in the freezer. So then if your husband or anyone is there helping you, if they're not there helping you, at least you can go in the refrigerator and grab and go. So that way you're getting the nutrients you need, because it's going to be hard with a new baby, getting sleep, and also still you're in recovery. At least it was for me, and it was an adjustment, but we're getting there. So those are my tips. So number one, we're going to go through them. Number one, ask for a belly binder right after delivery. Second, you want to use a antibacterial soap or something that is beneficial for you, which is a dial soap. And I know that they say, just wash your body and let the water run down. But what helped me is that I just rubbed a little bit of soap on my hand, and I just patted my incision. I patted on top of my incision and let the water run down, because when I did it their way, I got an infection. When I did it my way, it got the incision clean, and it did what it was supposed to do. Also, make sure that you grab you some Depends and some pads, because you will have bleeding after. Also, some hemorrhoid pads. Also, the little seatbelt cushion that you can hold over your incision. Pack you, I say, about 4 pair of leggings, and also know whether or not if you want to do a spinal or anesthesia or the epidural. To each his own. And also have even if you're gonna have a C-section, you still can have a birth plan. Now, because my C-section was an emergency, I didn't get to have a birth plan, so keep that in mind. You don't have to just settle and say, I'm getting a C-section, so I don't have to make a birth plan. You can, because it's more so in your control. You can enjoy, you know, packing your bag for the hospital. You can also have a plan to tell the doctor, okay, I want you to hold the baby over the curtain, or I want a curtain with a little window so I can see the baby when the baby's born, or I would like you to place the baby up by my cheek after delivery. Anything like that. Also, you can choose between, again, a spinal anesthesia or the epidural. You can ask them, can you record? They, however, did not let my husband record my birth, which made me sad, and I didn't get to see my baby after he was born. They kind of had to rush him out because he wasn't crying. They rushed him out, and I didn't get to see him until 3 weeks after I gave birth, when I was released from the hospital. I had to stay in the hospital, extra stint, because of my blood pressure, and he was had to stay at a different hospital due to they didn't have a level 3 NICU. So that was the hardest part for me. Also, the freezer meals will be helpful. Just prep a couple of meals if you know you're having a C-section. If not, and you have a emergency C-section, have a close friend or family member start the prep for you, and then have them go freeze the meals for you. So by the time you come home with the baby or come home, you have that to pull from. And that's all the tips I have for now. I think that'll do. Unless you have any further questions, just drop a comment down below what you'd like to see next. And thank you for watching this video. Thumbs this up and subscribe. Thank you.